Liverpool has not done themselves any favors this season at all. I
At
still maintain the
all, at
problem they
all.
have is not buying well in the summer. That's mistake that they have bought one or two defenders and one or two midfielders that have been better off, I believe.
Yeah.
But then let's see. Like I said, anything can happen at Anfield, right? Anything can happen at Anfield, even though they lost to City at Anfield recently, right? But let's
I,
see how it goes.
I
Yeah,
also think selling Diaz was a no-brainer. Luis Diaz, yeah.
Diaz, yeah. Because
I
you know
don't
the
know
problem with
why.
Diaz was that he wanted more money, right? He wanted a bigger contract, more money. That's my
But
understand.
you're paying somebody 150 million to from Newcastle to do what?
Exactly.
Yeah, and also I just think like
So to be fair, and so what is doing at Bayern Munich, they shouldn't have let him go. I agree. They should have kept Diaz. They shouldn't have bought Isak. They should have left Ekitike and the rest
Yeah.
of it. Right? That's what they needed. They didn't
yeah,
need to
that's what
sell.
they've done.
Yeah.
Also because of the tragedy that happened to Jota is why they even really needed to keep Diaz.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, all this thing like, again, like for me, it's in hindsight because when I looked at all the transfers they did, like in the summer too, I feel like, okay, Liverpool, like they've improved the team. Like this looked like good
Nope,
signing.
nope,
I mean,
nope,
on paper,
No,
nope,
me, I
nope.
knew. No,
People
I
said
felt
why
like we needed bigger
Ekitike
defenders.
and Isak? Why chase
Exactly.
Isak
I'm like
for that
because
long?
you bought Ekitike. I said it was your first team striker when he
Yeah.
bought
yeah,
him.
but no, nobody knew. I mean, we didn't know Ekitike will hit the ground running. I mean, if we were to choose Isak or Ekitike, Isak was always we
So
were going to
again, my
choose
point is buy
Isak
one.
over
But
You
Joshua,
Ekitike.
can't buy two of them,
look at it this
and none
way.
of them is a 10. None of them can play 8. They are both
Exactly. None of them can
9s.
play other wings. They can play that number 9.
Yeah, yeah.
You look at it this way. If a club like maybe Arsenal buys the Kitike and Isak becomes available, they still can buy Isak. They will not do it. No matter how good Isak is, they wouldn't buy two of those players in the same position. Because you need a backup striker and your first team striker.
Yeah.
Who will be backup right now?
Ekitike was meant to be the backup, but unfortunately,
No,
That was
no,
what they sold to him to come to
I
Liverpool.
disagree
yeah,
because Ekitike came in first before
Came
it
in
Isak.
first.
doesn't
Isak
mean
was
now.
an afterthought.
Isak was the transfer target of the summer.
No, but
Yeah,
when
They
they
were
went for
doing all
Isak,
their
Isak was
said
already even
no.
having problems in Newcastle. If
Yeah.
that transaction did not materialize, there would have been problem
Yeah,
No, you have to
because
match,
he was already having issues in Newcastle already.
That's Isak, right?
yeah,
Isak, there were already problems where they were sitting him there, like he's not willing
yeah,
to play.
yeah,
He
play,
didn't
yeah.
train,
But I
he
believe
didn't do
that if
preseason.
the
That's
window
why
had
all
closed and he
this
didn't move to
problem.
Liverpool, they would have settled their problem. They would have settled. This is like we're talking about mature, they were settled, right?
They would have
Me,
totally
I believe that after you bought Ekitike and promised him first team football, buying Isak already creating that conflict between Ekitike and Isak. And if you watch the first few games when Isak came around, there's some games where Ekitike was clearly upset on the pitch. Like I think there was a Carabao Cup game he played when he got a red card. I don't know if you remember that game he played when he got a red card.
Shit.
Silly fouls. I'm like, how can a professional footballer be committing this kind of foul? The first one, he hit the ball away. Second time, he knew he had a yellow card. He went to pull his jersey after scoring a goal. Yeah, someone has to go and take. What are you doing? You know what? So that's the thing, right? When you buy those stuff, you buy someone for £75 million, and then you now buy Isaac. I know that
So
wasn't
I don't even have a problem with buying Isak and buying Ekitike. If you're not sure Ekitike will gel, blah blah blah, do not sell Luis Diaz. That guy, again, one guy was even saying, if you're going to go for Isak, leave Nunes. So again, the things that worked for Anestot last season, he felt he played down on it. And I always say something. There are some players that give you 1001%. They might not score the goal, but they will chase after every ball. He sold his biggest runners. Nunes will chase even the defender into the net.
Personally, I didn't like this.
No, because he's not
No,
scoring.
but the work he was
He's
doing
not
for the team is not
But the
something
work rate.
It was still a lot of work.
He walked.
Because the buy him as a number 9 to
That
score.
guy was a runner.